All right, welcome back to Muddy Boots Off-Road. So, it's Friday evening. I just got home from work. Another long week. Excited about the weekend. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to try to accomplish this weekend in the barn. Amazon showed up, so first thing I'm going to do is open packages to see what we got, because I know what I got, but you guys don't know what I got. So let's see what we got. First thing we got is, and these have been all over the internet. Everywhere you look, they're on the internet. People raving about them and stuff like that. So I picked one up. I'll put a link, in the description, like we always say we're going to do, that I'm not real good at, but I'm getting better at it. But we picked up. Now we got to pick it up off the floor. Of course. Alright. We picked up one of the grinder attachments that they get for doing tube metal. So when you're sanding, because in our latest video that I posted here just the other day, we did some rock sliders on a buddy of mine and his wife's Cherokee, and this would have been super handy to have with polishing up the round tube. So we picked up a grinder attachment. I haven't got it put on anything yet. I barely got it out of the box, as you see. So it came with about 5 belts. Look like they're about 1.5 inches wide, roughly, maybe 2. I'll have to measure them once I open it. Another little pulley deal. So we're excited about this. I will let you know what I think about that as I use it. The second thing I did, which is kind of a big deal for us, because everybody knows that recoveries and off-road recoveries are pretty exciting to watch. I enjoy the shit out of them. I watch the crap out of all those guys. I've been watching them for years. I happened to drive a wrecker when I was in my late 20s, early 30s, and it was the funnest job I ever had. I loved it. I was good at it. I did a lot of off-road recoveries, both with a wrecker, 4-wheel drive wrecker, 2-wheel drive wrecker, and at the time my personal rig, which happened to be a great big yellow short box 1-ton that we built back then. It was a 77 F-150 converted to an F-350. I got some pictures around here of it. I'll have to dig out. But I used to go pull people out all the time. In fact, I got phone calls through my buddy's work to call me to get a hold of him and come and do it. So I'm going to get back into it. We live super close to a major trailhead here in the Pacific Northwest. So I'm starting to pick up recovery stuff. We are going to take the Gray Ranger Forest, and we're going to put a boom on it and turn it into a recovery vehicle of sorts. Both, winching people out and dragging them out, that type of stuff. I mean, like I said, I'm 3 miles from a major off-road park here, ORV area, where we live, so we're close. We can respond quickly, and we've actually have several people have contacted my son Jess, which you guys have seen in the videos, to come retrieve them. We're going to set that truck up to become a wrecker, so to speak. So look for that. That build's coming. We're going to take the 302 out of it. We're going to put a 351 in it. We're going to build a boom for it and modify the back to where we can actually do recovery. So that's all coming pretty soon in the next few months. And I'm excited about it. I enjoy doing it. It's always keeps me thinking, and I enjoy watching the crap out of it. I watch them like you wouldn't believe. So look for that kind of stuff. So the second thing I got is my first set of J-hooks. I got a set of J-hooks so that we can start doing recoveries. I got some more pieces of parts coming in the mail, so as I get them, I will show them to you. So this video is the weekend. This is what we're going to try and get done this weekend. We have lots of plans, but I'm not sure what. I don't film during the week, so I'm not filming during the week because I don't get out here very much. In fact, Jess came out last night after work, and he got the torque converter set, filled with fluid, got the torque converter in between the motor and the transmission that we picked up last weekend, and the motor is now in place. So the the Brown Ranger now has the motor. So now we can start hooking the motor up and getting it doctored up, start working the wiring and stuff. So that's a major component that was kind of hanging us up on this. We have a lot of other stuff. We got some we have our coilovers. They are in the mail, on their way for this thing, all 4 corners, so we're super excited about that. So a lot of things are going to be happening with Muddy Boots here in the next few weeks, so you get to watch us and like, subscribe, share it, all that good stuff, so that we can continue building, because we're going to expand. I'm going to keep doing this. I'm enjoying it, and it's just kind of a side hobby doing the film thing, so I like it. I'm having fun with it, so I'm going to continue doing it. I hope you enjoy it, and let's see what we can get done this weekend. So right now I'm in work clothes. I ain't getting into nothing, because I'll have these soon to be farm clothes if I do, but the motor's set and I'm excited about that. So we have lots of shit to do. Lots. I don't know what we're going to get done this weekend, so we'll find out as we do. So when the camera comes back on, we will all know what it is I think we should do, because I don't even know right now. We've got a cross member to finish putting in there to get that motor and tranny set per where I want it. So lots and lots of stuff, but excited about our new gadgets and some of the potential stuff that we're going to start doing. So stay tuned. Alright, Saturday morning, and I'm going to start out today. I want to check this thing out. So I picked this up, and as you've seen earlier in my video, I picked this thing up on Amazon, cost effective. Got out here this morning before I turned the camera on, and kind of looking at it. The first thing I noticed, this little gadget right here, I don't know if you can see it. Let me move the camera toward you. I'm in better light. Okay. This little gadget right here, which actually holds on, and I'm using an old Makita grinder that I've had for years around here. And the first thing I noticed is the point here, whatever this little shank thing's called, is bigger diameter than what is provided. I bent it a little bit with a pair of pliers to where it fits, and it fits on there now. Now, this little tiny janky ass screw, let me get you in the camera, and I keep a bin with nuts and bolts and screws and all kinds of stuff. I had to get a longer one. So this is the first thing I come across on it, is that. Definitely check that when you're, I guess, ordering yours. Make sure that the shank right there is the right size. I happen to have a big enough, where's my screwdriver? I happen to have a big enough, or a long enough screw that I can adjust it. And what I'll do is I'll just use that longer screw after I bend it around the shank. I'll tighten her up, and if it's the screw's too long, then I'll just cut it off with another grinder, because this one is now going to be dedicated to my belt sander. And I'm kind of excited about this thing. I've been seeing them all over the internet and stuff, so we're going to crank that down real good. Try not to jam that screwdriver into my finger. Now, I don't know if my positioning is correct yet or not. Once I get it assembled, I'm not sure how. I'm not sure exactly how yet. Might take a couple times to get it set up and adjust it and rotate it, but handle screws on. Once you get that taken care of, this little gadget, which we haven't checked the thread pitch yet. Hopefully it's kind of a universal thing, which is something I think you just kind of take for granted that it will be. So far, let's see. Alright, so far so good. Alright, rotate that on, lock it. Okay, so now, break that on real good. Alright. So now we have it all together. I probably should stand back. There you go. Move the camera here. Alright, now I think we just add the belt according to this in-depth instruction kit that I got here, and at least I can read it. So, alright, I think it came with 5 belts. So, it came with 5 belts. We're going to do this. Slide number 1 off. Alright. I imagine this should be as easy as just squeezing this together until it fits on there. Put that like that. Pull that up. Let that go. Make sure it's in there. And in theory, we should be in business. And now we have our sanding, our fancy dancy sander. And I'm kind of excited about this. Like I said a couple times now, I've seen them and they look like they're pretty slick. Again, mine's kind of a cheap one, but we're going to give it a shot real quick. So stay tuned for that. Alright, so I'm going to tilt you off my pretty mug here for a minute. Got a little piece of pipe. This isn't even tube, I think this is just pipe. And we're going to give it a shot. Hopefully this thing don't blow apart in my face. Let's give it a shot. I don't know. Okay, alright, first thing I noticed is I need to take and I need to spin it because I want the drill to sit vertically, and I think I would be better off if I was working it like this. Also, I want to turn this handle to the other side. So, a couple little adjustments. Like I said, it's going to take a couple adjustments for me. I guess this would be best. We'll try it. So, let me make some changes real quick and we'll double check it. Alright, so what I decided to do today is I'm going to finish my cross member. We got the motor set in this week after work, a couple hours here and there. Got the torque converter in, got some fluid in it, got it bolted up. So the motor is actually sitting in the brown truck right where we want it. But when I welded up my cross member on my angle iron on coming out to where I'm going to mount it up underneath on the frame, I welded them on upside down, of course. So I had to cut them back off, put them on the bandsaw, cut them back off. Now I'm cleaning up the edges and I'm going to put them on the correct way. I'm going to tack them this time, set it up in there, bolt it all up, and make sure that everything fits. So that's what we're doing. We're getting these cleaned back up and correcting our mistake because I got overzealous and did it wrong. Alright, so we gave her a shot. I mean, take me a little bit of adjustments, of course. Any new tool does, but this is what it started out like right here, and you can't see because the light sucks. Let's pull over here where we can see a little better. Alright, it started out like this right here, and it ended up being like this. Now so it's shiny, so it took that burr, so I had a burr on it kind of like this here is, and yeah, it cleaned it up nice. Take a few more little adjustments to it, but for right now, until I play, so until I play with it for a little bit, I think we got her set up. I'll probably play with it some more later today. I'll tell you, trying to talk to you guys is not easy sometimes. So, but anyway, I'm really jacked about this thing. Again, our new toy, and I'm excited about it. I think a little bit more abrasive belts. I'll have to look and see what I can get for more aggressive sanding belts for it and stuff like that. But yeah, it's pretty simple. I don't know how well it works on like square tube or anything yet, but we're going to try all that throughout the day probably. So I'll get back to you on it. Alright, so what I decided to do today is I'm going to finish my cross member. We got the motor set in this week after work, a couple hours here and there. Got the torque converter in, got some fluid in it, got it bolted up. So the motor is actually sitting in the brown truck right where we want it. But when I welded up my cross member on my angle iron on coming out to where I'm going to mount it up underneath on the frame, I welded them on upside down, of course. So I had to cut them back off, put them on the bandsaw, cut them back off. Now I'm cleaning up the edges, and I'm going to put them on the correct way. I'm going to tack them this time, set it up in there, bolt it all up, and make sure that everything fits. So that's what we're doing. We're getting these cleaned back up and correcting our mistake, because I got overzealous and did it wrong. Safety first. Actually, I like these things. Other than, I am your father, right? Anyway, so, cleaning it up. I'll give you a little bit of grinding, but not very much. Probably boring. I'll do it off camera. I got a question for all you web wheelers out there, weekend warriors and all that stuff like me. Does anybody still use an abrasive grinder bit, or did everybody just switch over to the flat wheels? Because I have abrasive stone wheels, whatever they're called, but I never use them anymore. I always use a flat wheel. So I was wondering if anybody else out there still uses like the old school abrasive grinder discs. So, because since the flat wheel came out, I swear that's all we ever use. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Alright, so what we got done is we got those cleaned up, and we had to cut a little edge off of here, and they're tacked up. Now I made these plates the other day. Now I took a piece of flat bar, drilled holes, welded some nuts on the back side so that this will sit up inside the frame, and that lines up with our holes there. So when I put this up in there, I can stick this up inside the frame, and I can weld an edge to hold that into place, and that is how that'll go together. So I'll show you what I've done there. Let's get under the truck here. Not gonna be a whole lot of light, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so let's spin this around. Add a flashlight here. Alright, so I've restitched this back up, so that's like my second pass across the top of this bracket. We're plating the outside edge out here, but for right now, these two holes here are what we are putting. Look, I'll see if I can get up in there, and you can see I have that piece of plate with those nuts welded right there, and I welded this edge here. That's all I can reach. So I've boxed the frame up to this point. I got to continue boxing it out. And when I did my original calculations, I kind of mismeasured. I was hoping this would be back here a little bit farther, and I'd have better access, but I got a pretty good weld. I'm not afraid of that really coming out of there and busting loose. And now we're working on this side over here. Spin light. And now we're over here on this side doing the same thing. We've got our holes drilled using a step bit. Using a step bit, I got these holes drilled here. I have to cut the edge. Isn't this fun? This is so much fun. Alright, so now what I got is to get my butt back out from underneath the truck. If anybody wants to throw a lift my way, I'd love you. For a long time, I'd love you. Alright, so get up. I can still do it. So now we got to line this up with our holes and figure out which side I want to clean off. Now I have to take about a 1/4 inch off of the side so that it'll fit up in that frame rail, and I can get it up in there and have it line up with my holes. So that's my next step, and yeah, we'll check back in a minute, because it's a whole lot of grinding, cutting, all that good stuff. So give me a few minutes and I'll be back. Okay, so what I've done is I've got that piece up inside the frame with the holes. I took two 3/4 inch nuts, and I drove them in with my impact driver and sucked it up so it's in place, so that now when I go to put my cross member in, I will have basically old-fashioned riv nuts in place, and I don't have to try fishing a wrench up inside the frame, and I can continue boxing the frame out towards the front of the motor and everything like we plan on doing. So right now it's time to do a little welding. I'm gonna weld that front edge up the best I can. It's not easy to get up in there now that I have the transmission and everything all up in place, but we just need a couple decent little welds to hold that from spinning and moving, which should not be a big deal. Where'd I put all my stuff? Alright. So it's all over the place. Alright. Okay, so we got that tacked up. I touched up a few other welds while I was under there with the welder. Yeah. You know, if this ever reaches somebody that is just starting out welding, because I'm not the greatest welder in the world. I'm not. I can make metal stick. If I was to give somebody a piece of advice as they were starting out fabricating stuff like that, if you want a nice clean weld, prep your metal. Get all the stuff off of it, clean it up before you weld. I still sometimes get excited or miss an edge or whatever when I'm building and fabricating, but yeah, clean your metal. That would be my one thing I'd say to everybody. Prep your edges where you're going to weld, and you will get a lot cleaner weld, a lot stronger weld. But you know, I'm just a shade tree welder, fabricator, whatever. So, but yeah, that's it. So, could have drawn that out a little bit more, but I didn't. So, what do you do? So, I'm gonna let that cool off for a minute, and then I'll get that cross member. We're gonna see if it fits. Cross your fingers. So while I'm out in the barn working on the brown truck, Jess took off, and there'll be some footage probably throughout this video. He took off and went to an event that was going off out here in Tahuya, our local ORV park. There's a memorial run for a kid that passed away. Anyway, so he's out doing that. I'm gonna throw some clips from his. We'll see what he brings back for footage, and I'll throw that inside this video as well. But here we are. We're just keep plugging away on our weekend warrior shit. Okay, so it's well past lunchtime. I just got my cross member kinda almost finalized here. So figured I'd show you guys what I came up with. And this is what we're doing. Alright. So remember, this is all cut out with a grinder. The plasma cutter, we didn't even have it because the tips were all blowed out. But so here is our cross member. So these are for our upper links. We got them gusseted up in the corners, here and here. Once I put this back in, I might look at more gussets on it, stuff like that. I know there's going to be some boxing and stuff like that on some of the brackets. I just haven't quite got that far, but this is what we got. So it goes in just like such, and here you go. So front driveline comes out here. This is my inner link. The link sits on this side here, mounts to the frame, comes up. Transmission mount goes here, and then again link bar, and it's hotter than crap, and then up into the frame. So I'm gonna get a light coat of paint on it, I think, while I go get a snack. I got a couple little boogers up in there, but there it is. This is our front transmission cross member. But oh yeah, not bad considering. I think it looks pretty damn good considering we cut these out by hand with a grinder, and I think we used the plasma cutter on these outside radiuses and then had to grind them down. But there it is. So just another weekend warrior shit what we're doing. So but yeah, all right. So I'm not sure what's going to be next after we get this all taken care of, but we'll definitely we're going to fit it back up in there and get some paint on it this afternoon for sure, and then we'll reevaluate where we're headed from there, because I really don't know yet, but it's snack time for me. Alright, so now we got some paint on her, getting her cleaned up. We got to let that set up and dry. Then we're going to stick her back in and make sure she fits. So yeah, there it is. I'm just using up some old cans. I'll end up going over it about 4 more times to give it a nice good coat, and then we're going to stick it back up underneath there. While that's happening, I'm going to build some plate for some boxing some stuff in, and that's kind of boring. It's just a bunch of grinding, cutting, and yeah, boring stuff. So yeah, don't need to see that, I don't think. So okay, so now I got paint on it. You can kind of see it coming together now. It turned out pretty good. It looks really good. So while that's setting up on paint, getting a coat, at least one coat of paint on it for right now before I put it back up underneath there. I'm gonna hang it up next to my stove so it gets nice and hot. I'm gonna do some cutting, or I don't know. I'm gonna look around for a little bit, see what's next, because I'm not quite sure. But we're still weekend warrioring it. So we'll see what we can't get accomplished. But I know I got some more welding underneath there to do. And when I weld underneath, I'm not filming it. I end up kicking my camera. I can show you afterwards, I guess. But yeah, we've got some plates and stuff to make, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I got some paint on it. It's setting up right now. You can see it down here on the garbage can. This is our cross member. Got our tabs and everything, so I think that's going to work for us. Just some chunks of stuff and things and deals, and that's what we made. So we'll let that set up. It's time for me to turn the tunes on for a little bit and get some stuff actually done. I'll get you guys back involved here in a little bit, but right now I'm going to spend the next couple hours probably actually knocking some shit out. So that's what I'm going to do, and we'll check back in a bit. Alright, let me get you guys up here. What I've been doing is I've been building a couple plates. I got this one cut out, the other one's on the table laid out. Okay, so these are basically just, I don't know what they call them, fish mouth plates or some shit like that. But anyway, so what this is going to do is right here, let me get you set up, see if you can see what I'm doing here. Is okay, so I got this lower link bar bracket coming down right there. What this is going to do is go over the top of it, because all I got is this weld across the seam here right now holding that up there. Now I flushed it up the best I can. I got a little bit of a dent right there, which I think I can take out with a clamp. And what we're going to do is put this right over the top of it, like such. Take our fancy clamp here. Tighten that bad boy up. Okay, get a little snug. Now, I wanted a good solid quarter, maybe even a hair more, so I might tap this up with a hammer and get that up, and then I'm going to stitch all this up, plug welds and all this over the top of that, which is going to help give that a whole bunch more strength, because the last thing I want to do is lose one of my lower link bars. So once I get both of these up in here and I guess at least tacked into place for right now, I don't know if I'll weld them all the way or not. I might look at it for a little bit. Haven't quite made my mind up there, but that's what I've been working on, is making these. So I got one done, the other one's laid out, and I'm just using a step bit to get these holes. I got hole saws. I didn't feel like really changing it out. It just happened to be set up, but so I went with that. And it's getting later in the day for me. It's getting to be about supper time. But I am going to get this to this point and the cross member back up today. Is what my goal is. So that's where we're headed. And it's amazing how long it takes to cut something out with a cut-off wheel and a drill. But we're getting her done. We're not setting no land speed records, but she's going together. So, and that's going to give this a whole bunch of strength, especially once I get this all welded back up nice and pretty. And inside here, yeah, I'm definitely going to like that a lot better. I mean, this is nice thick. I think this is at least quarter. I don't think it's 3/16, but I think it's quarter down below. So yeah. So that's what I've been doing with the tunes on for the last 45 minutes or so. So I got one more of these to cut out, yeah, we'll show you what it looks like after I get it tacked. Alright, so we just got done welding her on. And that's it. That's our fucking air plate there. Of course, my hole lined up with this hole in the frame, so I ain't gonna worry about it. There's a lot of heat on there right now, but that's it. Tied it into the kicker bar for the rock sliders and the cage and everything, but there's what we got done. So, alright, we got one more side to do. Just gotta do the other side. Okay, so I'm back on the ground. I got my fish plates over here on. Coming down. Here's the cross member. I have to shift the whole transfer case this way about a ½ inch, and she'll sit in the bolts, but there she is. She's in there. There's the cross member. And, took a lot of work making those fish plates and everything, but I think that's as far as we're going to get tonight. It's getting to be later in the evening, so yeah, I think we're going to call it a night. Go back to the house, get cleaned up, get all the grinder dust off us, and all the stuff that, all the good stuff that's involved in building shit. Getting old, but hey, we're getting stuff done. That's a big step, getting that cross member in there, so I'm excited about that. Alright, we'll see you guys in the morning maybe. Alright, well, it's a new day, and I'm not quite sure which direction I'm going to go quite yet. I have a ton of stuff to do, and it's overwhelming. Any project, when you get to a certain point of the project, it gets to be overwhelming. So, that's kind of where I'm at this morning. I don't know which way I'm going to go. So, we'll just have to wait and see and find out, because, yeah, so many things. But it's a new day, so let's see what we can't get done. Hold on.
We're going to turn the radio off. Okay. Where are we at with this thing?
Just cleaning up a bunch of loose ends this afternoon, so
Gotta do those, right?
No.
Is that what we were talking about?
So, back at me. No. Okay, so we decided this morning to go ahead and finish. We got so many loose ends, we're going to get stuff wrapped up today, so we're doing some more plate cutting, some more welding, and just kind of finishing up, getting the gussets. When we get gussets up here on the front links, on the top part of the axle truss, we want to get that boxed in back here for the rear links there. We got the bottoms done. I showed you that yesterday, so just more cut and plate. Cut and plate, we have welding plasma cutter tips today, so it's a lot less of me on a disc and a drill. So yeah, gonna keep rolling. So let's do that. So, probably turned the radio down, but I didn't. I had it up. So we're jamming tunes out in the barn. Jess is over there putting gussets. We're trying to, like I said, wrap up a bunch of loose ends on the front end and the rear end. That's just what we're doing today, is just plugging away. So, making noise. When in doubt, get a BFA. Alright, so we're continuing on today with just getting stuff wrapped up. It's Sunday, so it's the end of our week. Probably not near as heavy hitting as I did yesterday, but we got Jess down here burning stuff. Using a lot of heat and a big ass hammer. So just plugging away. So, yeah. Like I said, loose ends is today's project. Get caught up a little bit. So this will probably be about the end of this video. So remember to like, subscribe, share it. We got lots coming. We got lots and lots they're gonna put out here and show you guys. So stick with us. What's that?
That is good.
Okay, I'm sure it's as welded as good as anything we weld. So anyway, thanks for watching Muddy Boots Off-Road. Today is just a bunch of little stuff, and that's what we're doing. So, like, subscribe, share, do all that stuff. Comment. Yeah. just got done finishing this. This is going to be the end of the video for this week. We're going to keep moving ourselves, but we're not hitting it near as hard. So this is where we're at. We got the front end capped off, linked, and this is just what we're doing today, is getting all this kind of finishing off this stuff up there and the cross member and some bracing up towards the end of that link there to box that in, box this one in. So the bottoms here, so we'll show you some more pictures of this as we're working on it, but that's it. Thanks for watching Muddy Boots Off-Road. Remember, like, subscribe, share, anything that's going to make us more popular, get more views, all that stuff. Help us out. We need your help. Thanks.